Some dates are just marks on a calendar, vanishing like footprints in the sand. But others are fault lines in time, moments that don't just pass, they divide. July 10, 2025 is not a day for your schedule. It is a line in the sand for your soul. It is the moment that will starkly separate those who have been building their inner world from those who have been distracted by the outer one. When the divine whispers that everything changes, it's not for entertainment. It's not a prediction meant to be debated on the internet. It is a frequency being broadcast, and only those who have tuned their inner receiver to the station of stillness will even know it's on the air. Your life is a storm of signals. Every day, you're hit with broadcasts telling you what to buy, who to be, what to want, and what to fear. These signals are designed to keep you busy, to keep you running, to keep you looking for answers everywhere except the one place they exist inside. And so, most will miss the significance of July 7th. They'll be waiting for a headline, a public announcement, a sign in the sky. But God doesn't send a text message, He changes the frequency of reality itself. The memo before the earthquake is not a loud siren, it is a subtle shift in the ground beneath your feet. But you only feel it if you're standing still. To hear this broadcast, you must first turn down the volume on your own noise, the noise of your ego demanding to be right, the noise of your fear whispering that you are not enough, the noise of your desires screaming for more. When you are full of your own opinions, there is no room for divine intelligence. When you are full of expectations, you are blind to the miracle that is arriving in a form you did not expect. This is the secret of the great masters and sages. They understood that you must become empty to be filled. The preparation is a quiet one. It is like the deep, silent work a tree does in its roots all winter, gathering strength for the spring explosion of life that seems to come from nowhere. Many think transformation is an event, like a lightning strike. But true soul-level change is a process. It began long before you heard this message. It started when you began to feel a quiet dissatisfaction with the superficial. When you started choosing peace over drama, when you started seeking truth instead of comfort. These are not random mood swings, this is your soul beginning to align with a new frequency. And what is this frequency calling you to do? It is a simple, 3-word command: build, align, release. It's not a shout, because shouting is for those who need to be convinced. A whisper is for those who are ready to listen. Think of an architect designing a skyscraper. She doesn't start by decorating the penthouse. She spends most of her time on what no one will ever see, the foundation. She works in silence meticulously, ensuring every calculation is perfect, every material is strong. The same is true for your spirit. You are being prepared for an energetic shift. And this shift will not care about your job title, your social media following, or the car you drive. It will test the strength of your foundation. And when it arrives, it will not elevate the popular or the powerful. It will elevate the prepared. When July 7th comes, the world will be confused. They will see some people rise with an unshakable calm and clarity, while others crumble into chaos and fear. The difference will not be luck, it will be preparation. Those who rise were the ones who felt the subtle hum of change long ago and started building their foundation in private. They didn't need a public crisis to get serious. They were already serious about their inner work. The world demands proof before it will believe anything. But the spiritual path is the opposite. You must believe in order to become the proof. If you are always waiting for a sign, you will never be the sign. The divine signal is not given to you so you can sit back and wait. It is given so you can stand up and act. It is an act of mercy, an opportunity to reinforce your foundation before the storm makes landfall. You don't need the sky to crack open to believe. You only need to feel that deep, inner knowing that tells you to get your house in order. This is why stillness is so powerful, not because it's relaxing, but because in the quiet, you can finally hear the instructions that are drowned out by the noise of daily life. Some things can only be perceived by a still heart, so you must train not in how to argue better, but in how to listen deeper. Ask yourself, when chaos erupts, do you join the panic or do you become the anchor? When a wave of fear sweeps through the collective, do you get swept away, or do you stand firm and breathe? When the crowd rushes in one direction, do you follow blindly, or do you stand still and check your own inner compass? Those who are tuned in understand that life is not about reacting to events, it is about responding from a place of core stability. But you cannot respond with wisdom if you haven't first built that stability in silence. Most people live in a state of constant reaction. Their buttons are easily pushed. Their peace is easily stolen. Their energy is easily drained. And so when the real test comes, they have nothing left in the tank. They will cry out, "Why didn't God warn us?" But the truth is, the divine did speak. It broadcast a clear signal. But they had their inner radio tuned to the wrong station, the station of distraction, drama, and denial. Discipline is the act of building your foundation brick by brick. It is not punishment, it is the ultimate form of self-love. A true warrior trains every day, not because he is certain there will be a battle tomorrow, but because readiness is his state of being. If you wait until the world is shaking to learn how to be stable, you have waited too long. Your preparation is happening right now in the choice to get out of bed instead of hitting snooze, in the choice to speak with kindness instead of judgment, in the choice to consume wisdom instead of garbage. These are not small things, they are the concrete and steel of your inner fortress. And when the winds of change blow, only the structures built on the rock of truth will remain standing. This whisper also tests your humility. Many people have shelves full of spiritual books, they can quote the masters. But knowledge that isn't lived is just a heavier form of ego. You may know the path, but are you walking it? You may talk about light, but do you embody it in your actions when no one is watching? The divine signal is not received by the clever mind, it is received by the humble spirit, and the spirit can only hold the energy it is pure enough to carry. You must let go of the need to be seen, the need to be admired, the need to be right. These are all frequencies of the ego, and they create static that blocks the divine broadcast. On July 7th, what has been built in secret will be revealed in public. Those who built their foundation in silence will not be surprised. They will not panic. They will simply take a deep breath and keep walking, because their direction comes from an inner GPS, not from outer headlines. Their strength doesn't come from knowing what will happen, but from the discipline of being ready for anything. Their peace doesn't come from a lack of problems, but from the presence of a deep, unshakable purpose. And this has always been the point of the broadcast, to awaken you to your true purpose. The divine does not call you to a life of comfort, it calls you to a life of growth. But you cannot rise if you are clinging to the anchors of your past. You cannot transform if you refuse to surrender what is familiar. The broadcast is an invitation to release the blame, release the excuses, release the old stories, release the identity that has kept you small. Only then will you be light enough to ascend. So, listen with your whole being, not just your ears. See with your inner awareness, not just your eyes. Walk in alignment, not just in ambition. If you feel that pull, that sense that the world is on the cusp of something massive, don't dismiss it as anxiety. Don't numb it with distraction. That is your soul's notification system telling you, it's time, the training is over, it's time to apply what you know. The signal is not something you chase, it is something you become. And those who become the signal will not be afraid of the storm, they will be the calm at its center, held steady by a power that is not their own, the power of the divine. True readiness is not a reaction to danger, it is an alignment with truth. And what the distracted eye will miss, the trained spirit has already registered. There's a world of difference between reacting to life and being in alignment with it. The person in reaction is always one step behind, chasing trends, scrambling for safety, confused by change. But the person in alignment is never caught by surprise. They may not know the future's fine print, but they've already received the executive summary through their intuition, their inner clarity, their quiet knowing, that restlessness you've been feeling, that sense that the clock is ticking on an old way of being. That is not your mind playing tricks on you. That is your spirit's final call to prepare. What unfolds on July 7, 2025 is not a random event, it is a reckoning, a convergence of choices, energies, and consequences that have been building for decades. The world will see it as sudden, but the wise know that spiritual law is never late. Every thought you've chosen, every word you've spoken, every action you've taken has been an energy deposit. The universe has been keeping a perfect ledger, and on certain sacred days, the books are balanced. Not as a punishment, but as a fulfillment of law. You harvest what you have planted. You become what you have practiced. You are ready for what you have prepared for. Preparation is not an emergency drill, it is a way of life. The people who stand strong on that day won't be the ones who had a sudden epiphany that morning. They will be the ones who walked the long, lonely road of inner work, who chose discipline when no one was looking, who chose love when the world offered hate, who held on to their integrity when it was easier to compromise. These are the souls who prepared not out of fear of a coming storm, but out of a deep knowing. They knew that when the ground shifts, you must already be standing on solid rock. You cannot learn how to build your foundation in the middle of an earthquake. And how do you build? Not by accumulating more, but by releasing more. Not by constructing thicker walls around your heart, but by strengthening your inner core. So many are chasing the same things: wealth, status, approval. But what is their true value when the energetic tide of the planet rises? What good are your trophies if your spirit is too heavy to float? You cannot cheat spiritual physics. When the frequency ascends, only the light of heart will rise with it. You must let go of the dead weight, the bitterness, the resentment, the unhealed wounds. This is the real work. This is the preparation. Because when the energetic veil thins, and it will, everything that is hidden will be illuminated. You cannot fake peace. You cannot fake strength. You cannot fake alignment. On that day, your energy will be your only resume. The world will react. It always does. It reacts to fear, to crisis, to headlines. But the spirit does not react, the spirit prepares. It understands that divine timing isn't on a human calendar, it's on a soul timeline. There are seasons in your life you do not choose, they choose you. And this coming season is not one of wishful thinking, it is one of decisive action. It is not for the mind that hopes, but for the soul that has done the work. You must ask yourself, am I still negotiating with my own evolution? Am I still waiting for a better time? Am I still arguing with the truth? The time for debate is over. The time for embodiment is now. Preparation is unique to you. For some, it is finally choosing silence over the constant buzz of distraction. For others, it means finally having the courage to face a pain you've been running from for years. For some, it's about cutting energetic cords to people and situations that drain your life force. For others, it is the revolutionary act of forgiveness. These are not minor adjustments, they are seismic shifts within you. They are the actions that build an inner world so stable that it doesn't shatter when the outer world shakes. And it will shake, not to destroy you, but to reveal you, because everything hidden is coming to light. And you will see two kinds of people: those who are horrified by what is revealed, and those who are liberated by it because they have already been living in their truth. A seed in the ground does not fight the darkness, it uses the pressure and the silence to gather its strength, trusting that the light is its destiny. In the same way, your preparation has been happening quietly. Maybe you've lost interest in pointless arguments. Maybe you felt a pull away from drama and negativity. Maybe your priorities have been shifting in ways you can't logically explain. This is not you being antisocial, this is you being spiritually aligned. It is the deepest part of you responding to the coming shift. It's as if your soul has been packing for a journey that your mind is only now getting the itinerary for. That is perfect. Let your soul take the lead. Many will try to cram at the last minute. They will binge watch spiritual content, rush to meditation apps, and try to force a sense of peace. But you cannot cram for a test of the soul. You cannot microwave spiritual maturity. You cannot download integrity. These qualities are forged in the slow fire of daily choices. If you have already begun this work, even if you feel imperfect, even if you stumble, you are already ahead of the curve. Keep going, keep building, because the energy of the new reality cannot be held by a consciousness that refuses to evolve. The shift isn't interested in your potential, it is interested in your reality. It cares only about who you have become, and that truth is either your freedom or your cage. The preparation is the act of picking the lock. Every warrior honors his blade by keeping it sharp, long before any battle is announced. He does it not from fear but from a commitment to readiness. The spiritual warrior is always ready, not because he is looking for a fight, but because he knows that peace is a byproduct of inner strength. On July 7th, this balance of peace and strength will be tested. Those with no inner peace will be consumed by the external chaos. Those with no inner strength will be shattered by the speed of the changes. So you must train now. Train your mind to find stillness in the storm. Train your heart to respond with grace under pressure. Train your body to be a disciplined vehicle for your spirit. Train your spirit to trust the process even when you cannot see the path. Let go of the illusion that you have unlimited time. Time is a gift, not a guarantee, but presence is always available, and in the field of presence, all true power is born. Your future is not waiting for your permission, it is waiting for your participation. You don't need to be a perfect saint, you just need to be a present participant. And from that presence you build. You build the habits that feed your soul, you build the boundaries that protect your energy. You build the daily rituals that anchor you in truth. These are the stones you use to build the foundation you will stand upon when everything else is swept away. And what about those who hear this and scoff? The ones who say, "It's just another day, nothing ever happens." They are the ones who will be most profoundly shocked. Not because they were not warned, but because their arrogance made them deaf. Denial is not a shield against reality, it is merely a postponement of the inevitable encounter with it. And when truth arrives, it doesn't ask for your opinion. It simply is. If you have prepared, you will recognize it as a liberator. If you have not, you will experience it as a destroyer. This is not a judgment from God, it is the natural consequence of your own resistance. So prepare not with a heart full of fear, but with a soul full of reverence. Prepare not because the world is ending, but because a new world is being born. Prepare not for the world's approval, but for your soul's graduation. There is a grace that meets you when you are truly ready. There is a power that flows through you when you are truly aligned. There is a peace that becomes your home when you have truly surrendered. And this peace is not found in the headlines or the noise. It is forged in your practice, in your breath, in your discipline, in your silence. Stop looking to the outside world for your safety. Your safety is not a place, it is a state of being. It is in how you navigate chaos. It is in the integrity of your actions when no one is watching. It is in the courage of your choices when it would be so much easier to stay asleep. Every choice you make today is a deposit into the bank account of your future self. Every moment you choose discipline, you are preparing to stand firm. Every time you say no to what weakens you, you are saying yes to the person you are becoming. There are two ways to meet July 7th: in a state of shock or in a state of grace. One path leads to confusion and fear. The other leads to clarity and strength. And that clarity doesn't come from predicting the future. It comes from mastering your present. The energy of that day is already on its way. The tide is already turning. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but your spirit feels it. Honor that feeling. Do not ignore it. Do not drug it with distraction. Let it be the fuel that drives you deeper into your practice, deeper into your truth. Let it be the sacred reminder: what you build in silence is never lost. It is your strength. It is your anchor. It is your salvation. And when the world begins to tremble, you will stand firm, not because you were lucky, but because you were ready. You were not reacting. You were aligned. You were not looking for a savior. You had become your own. There is a fundamental error in how the modern world perceives transformation. People believe that wanting to change is the same as changing. They believe that if they write down their intentions, make a vision board, and repeat affirmations, the universe is somehow obligated to deliver their order. But sacred law doesn't respond to your wish list, it responds to your vibration. Energy doesn't follow your words, it follows your frequency. When the divine signal was given that everything changes on July 7, 2025, it wasn't a memo for the hopeful, it was a beacon for the aligned, those whose thoughts, words, and actions sing in harmony. The great mistake is to confuse a clear desire with a ready soul. But the universe, the divine intelligence, doesn't listen to your stated goals. It reads the energy signature you are broadcasting in every moment. You can declare you want peace while your inner life is a battlefield. You can say you want abundance while your frequency is one of lack. You can claim you are ready for transformation while you resist the discipline it requires. This is the great disconnect. This is why the divine broadcast is only received by those whose daily habits, inner self-talk, and moment-to-moment choices are tuned to a single, coherent frequency. That frequency isn't achieved by thinking about it, it's forged through alignment. Alignment is not an act. It is not acting spiritual. It has nothing to do with the crystals you own or the rituals you perform for an audience. True alignment is invisible to the world but deafening to the universe. You cannot lie to energy, you cannot fake your resonance. You are either vibrating in harmony with truth or you are not. And when that energetic gateway opens on July 10, 2025, it will not care what you hope to be, it will only amplify what you currently are. This is the core law of spiritual physics. Energy amplifies alignment, not intention. Your energy field is the only passport you will need. The quality of your inner state will be the only currency that matters. This is why the real preparation is not about talking more, but about becoming more. If you say you want peace but consistently choose arguments, you are out of alignment. If you say you are ready for more, but you live from a place of fear, you are out of alignment. If you call yourself a spiritual person but you indulge in gossip, complaint, and judgment, you are out of alignment. These are not minor flaws, they are fractures in your energetic structure. And when a flood of high-frequency divine energy sweeps the planet, it searches for coherence. It flows through those who are whole. It elevates those who are honest, not perfect, but honest in their being. The world applauds the loud, the ambitious, the well-marketed. But the divine promotes the sincere, the aligned, the quietly disciplined. A sacred formula is always at work: thought, word, action, vibration. If your thoughts are, I am abundant, but your words are full of worry and your actions are based in fear, your vibration is one of chaos. If your thoughts are, oh, I am ready, but your words are defensive and your actions are reactive, your vibration is one of dissonance. And it doesn't matter how many times you repeat your mantra, if your being is fragmented, your energy is out of tune with the coming shift. And an instrument that is out of tune cannot play the new music. The planet is not just changing its mind, it is raising its vibration. The coming shifts are not designed to reward the clever, they are designed to elevate the aligned. This is why many people who look good on paper will find themselves completely overwhelmed while those who have been quietly doing the deep inner work will rise with an effortless grace. There is a speed to spiritual energy that only a still heart can handle. There is a frequency of truth so high that only a humble spirit can receive it. And on July 7, your level of alignment won't be something you can manage or fake, it will simply be revealed. For many, this will feel like an intense pressure, a sudden exposure, because when the vibration of truth intensifies, everything built on a lie is forced to the surface. This is the great test, and the grading is not based on performance, but on purity. The test will not ask, how many books did you read? It will ask, did you live what you learned? It will not ask, how many followers did you have? It will ask, how many times did you choose integrity when no one was watching? It will not ask, how loud was your prayer? It will ask, how quiet was your mind? Alignment is silent work, but its results are world-changing. There are 3 pillars that create it: integrity, discipline, and surrender. Integrity means your actions match your values, even when it's uncomfortable. You say no to things that betray your soul, even if they please others. You keep your promises, especially the ones you make to yourself. Discipline means you do the necessary work, not just the easy work. You train your focus like a muscle. You master your emotional reactions instead of being a slave to them. You choose the higher path daily. And surrender means you release your tight grip on controlling outcomes. It is not weakness, it is the highest form of trust. You stop fighting the current. You align with the divine flow and move with it, even when your logical mind cannot see the destination. Most people try to muscle their way through life. They hustle and force, trying to bend reality to their will. But force always creates resistance. Alignment creates harmony. Your job is to become a clear channel through which divine energy can flow. You do this by removing the blockages, the ego, the fear, the resentment, the comparison, the impatience. These things are like dams in your energy system. And when the frequency of the world shifts, a constricted energy system will shatter. But when you are in alignment, you are like a perfectly crafted flute, empty of ego, clear in your channel, and ready for the breath of God to play its music through you. A sacred timeline is unfolding. A tree does not decide when to bloom, it blooms when its season arrives. You cannot force your own blooming, you can only tend to your roots. Your roots are your daily discipline. Your roots are your commitment to silence. Your roots are the 1,000 unseen choices you make. What you do when no one is watching is what determines your strength when the whole world is watching. And on July 7, the light will not just shine upon the earth, it will shine through you, or it will be blocked by you. There will be no in-between. Energy does not negotiate with half-truths. It either flows through a clear channel or it stops at a blockage. This is why this present moment is your only true training ground, not tomorrow, not when you feel like it. Now, the law is brutally simple. You will rise to the level of your alignment, not your ambition. You will receive in accordance with your preparation, not your proclamation. And you will be tested not on what you say you believe, but on who you have become. You must ask yourself the hard question: have I become a person who is capable of holding this next level of energy, truth, and responsibility? Or am I just hoping the world will change so I don't have to? You are not waiting for the energy is waiting for you. The divine river has always been flowing. The only question is, are you a vessel that can hold it? Or are you a leaky bucket, losing your power through unconscious habits, a scattered mind, and emotional drama? Your capacity to hold energy is the definition of spiritual maturity, and maturity has nothing to do with age, it has everything to do with awareness and accountability. It is about choosing your own evolution over your own ego, again and again, especially when it is difficult. On July 7, the divine heartbeat will intensify. Some will rise with it, because their inner structure is resonant and strong. Others will crack because their foundation was built on sand. You must build your inner temple now, not with words, but with actions, not with theories, but with breath. You must clean the windows of your perception. You must organize the inner chambers of your soul. You must open the doors of your heart so that light has a place to enter. Because sacred divine energy does not force its way into chaos, it floods into order. Not the rigid order of control, but the flowing order of alignment. This alignment requires a radical, loving honesty with yourself. You must look at your life and ask, where am I still out of tune? Where am I still performing? Where am I still choosing comfort over my own growth? The answers may sting, but they are the keys to your freedom. You cannot heal what you refuse to see. You cannot align with the truth you are unwilling to face. But when you do, when you see yourself with clarity and love yourself enough to do the work, the universe rearranges itself to support you, not as a reward, but because you have finally tuned yourself to its natural rhythm. And this is the final secret: alignment is not a destination you arrive at. It is a state you return to moment by moment. Every breath is an invitation to return. Every choice is an opportunity to retune your instrument. You don't tune a guitar once and expect it to stay perfect forever. You tune it with care, with attention, with presence every single day. Because the music of your life depends entirely on your tuning. When the sacred day comes, the world will not change you, it will reveal you. The flood of energy will not create your alignment, it will magnify it. And so, the most important work you will ever do is not to hope, not to fear, but to align. Not in your mind, but in your being. Not for an audience, but for your soul. Not to impress the world, but to express the divine. Because in the end, it will not be your goals that see you through the storm, it will be your groundedness. It will be your stillness. It will be your alignment.